Sahana bhavatu, Sahano punattu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bill, are you new to class? I think I've seen this name for the first time. Bill B. So in case you are new, this is the book we are doing. And if something is not clear to you, please feel free to ask. So we have been studying that everybody knows that desires hinder spirituality, right? That you already know. I mean, all those who have been studying Vedanta classes before. What is not clear to people and is that desires hinder every aspect of our life. It is not that you are less spiritual because you have desires, which is true, of course, but everything is worse off. Your health is worse off, your work is worse off, your relationships are worse off, your ethics are worse off. Everything is hindered because of desires. So, when Vedanta gives us the path to spiritual growth, one of the most fundamental aspects of this is it's not a path to spiritual growth in the way people understand it that, oh, now we have material things to grow in and spiritual things to grow in. The, the, the base principle from where this works is when you take care of the higher, the lower is taken care of. So if you're looking after your spiritual growth, every aspect of your life must come out right. If you say, no, no, I'm very spiritual, but my finances are a mess, my health is a mess, my relationships are a mess, please reconsider whether you are doing anything spiritual or not. Right? You need to look at this again. So if we are doing our spiritual things, that means you're doing a subtler level thing, everything else should come under its purview. You can't say, oh, suppose Deep Raj says, I'm doing PhD in mathematics, but I really can't solve these third standard problems. Then what will we tell him? Please review whether you're really doing your PhD or not. What are you doing? Right? So when you're doing a higher thing, obviously the lower thing is included. So this concept that should I do spiritual or should I do material? There's no such thing. If you can do spiritual, you can handle anything. You can take up a great, massive project and deal with it. You can handle your relationships. You'll be happy and comfortable. You can handle everything if you can do spiritual things. So that is what we've covered so far. We covered how desires, what we covered was the opposite of what I'm saying now, but what we've covered is how desires are hindering everything, not just your spirituality. Is everybody clear with that much?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All are clear up to that point. Now we are going to do how the desires are hindering our spiritual life. So, if you look across the religions, across traditions, you will find that almost every tradition has the concept of the devil, the shaitan, the asura, the mara. All of these represent desire. They are that which stands between man and God. So, in a very boring, these are all beautiful ways of putting it. In our boring philosophical way, we say man or human minus desires is equal to God. This is our boring philosophical way, analytical way of saying these things. But the others, when they tell stories and all, it's so interesting how the devil comes to you, talks to you, tells you to do this, how you fall for that temptation, then all these things that happen to you. A nice full story is woven around it. Much more interesting than our boring ways, right? But the bottom line is desire stands between you and your spiritual growth. Right? So far, so good. Continue. As desires reduce, we become spiritual. The goal of godhood, desirelessness, cannot be conceived by those teeming with desires. If you're teeming with desire, if you're full of desires, there's too many desires, too many, it's just too much stuff going on. Where do you have the time, the energy, the capacity to think of the goal of godhood? Therefore, you find young children, when you were young or young children, they can think of these things. They've still not got involved in samsara. But once this whole samsara starts, work and children and this and that and all sorts of things, it sort of leaves our mind. So youngsters have the time, the mental ability to think about these things. Okay, all of us did that at that time. And then we go through a patch where you can't think of it at all. And then again, maybe it comes back, doesn't come back for everybody. Right, Elsie? Elsie had a big hiatus, right? For 20 years. She had a long hiatus in this. And the thing is, she's very fortunate and very lucky because that desire was there and it comes back out. Others have not been so lucky. Others have, many people get lost also. So this is the time where that desire is still present in us. To use that power of that desire to push us forward in this thing. Because you never know when life will take over. So when too many things are happening, see, technically we'll say desires are taking over. But when it's actually happening, you're not going to think desires are taking over. Just think of what can happen. A near and dear one could be in hospital. You will be forced to take care of that person. Isn't it? You will not say, oh, desires are taking over. But that is what is happening. And the desires will take over in a way that you will not call it desires. It will not even appear like desires. That is why when Sita's given that line of Maryada, no? Lakshman goes away and tells Sita, don't cross this line. Bill, are you familiar with the Ramayana? Because your name is Bill and I don't know whether you are from India or not, I ask. DC, okay. So are you familiar, Bill, with Ramayana? You know the story? Okay, so one of the epics of India that joins actually this whole country is the story of Ramayana. And in it, Rama is the prince. Ramayan by the means the ayana. Ayana means journey. His Rama's journey, Ramayana, Rama Ayana, Ramasya Ayana, the journey of Rama. So lots of things have happened. He's the prince, he's been banished, he's in the forest, and in the forest, his wife is with him. And his wife got attracted to a golden deer, and she tells her husband, "Oh, Rama, fetch me that deer." Rama tells her that no, that's not a deer, that's an asura, it's the devil, you forget about it. So she says, "No, I want the deer, it's very cute. I want that deer, it's so sweet." So Rama says, "Okay, what can he do?" His wife has said she wants something, he has to go. So he goes and he tells his brother, "You stay here and you look after Sita." Sita is his wife. And they hear this huge screaming. Okay? Like Rama is shouting in pain and saying, "Oh Lakshmana, oh Lakshmana, oh my brother, where are you?" That kind of thing. So his wife gets very upset. She tells her brother-in-law, you go look after Rama, go look after your brother." And the brother says, "My dear lady, Rama is capable of handling this whole universe. Why are you worried that somebody is going to kill him? Kill him?" He says, "No, you have to go, you have to go." No. She wouldn't let up. So he said, "Okay, Baba, I will go. I will draw a line around this hut. Whatever happens, you don't cross that." So she says, "Okay, I won't cross it. You go, you go, you go help him." So he goes, little bored because he knows that he doesn't need to help his brother. His brother is more than capable of handling all this. So he goes. And then he meets his brother who had already killed the demon, and they are coming back quietly. Brother says, "What have you come for?" Sister-in-law of mine doesn't listen, so I had to come. So they are peacefully coming back. In the meanwhile, the demon king, Ravana, comes to the wife who is in the cottage. And he says, "Bhiksham Dehi." Bhiksham Dehi means give me alms. Comes in the form of a monk and asks for alms. And Sita says, "Yeah, sure, I'll give you. Why don't you come in? I'll give it to you." So when he tries to come in, fire. He can't come in from that line that the brother is drawn. Are you with me so far, Bill? This is a 40,000 word story I'm telling you, so I don't know whether I am doing this too fast or not. Are you with me so far? Okay. So now the demon can't enter. So the demon, who's come dressed as a monk, as a mendicant, says to Sita, says to the wife, "I can't come in. There's something here. You come out and give me the alms." To which she says, "No, I'm not allowed to come out." Which he says, "Well, I'm a mendicant. I want alms." So she says, "Okay." And she steps out. And the moment she steps out, catches hold of her and kidnaps her, takes her away. The point of this story is okay, and then there's a lot going on also, of course, which we are not going into now. But when she steps out of that line of Maryada, that line of what is appropriate action, when she steps out of it, in her mind, is she thinking desires are overtaking me? Whenever we do whatever we do, we never think that we are a prey of these desires. We think, what can I do? I have money to earn. What can I do? I have somebody to take care of. There's always a very good reason. Never does it occur to me that desires have taken over. So when we say that, the desire to study this is with you, you must accelerate it. Because at what point something will happen in this world which you will feel is justified for you to do and take over your spiritual sadhana. You just don't know. You just don't know what will hit you. And at that time, you will never think that desires are taking over. You will always think, I have to do this. So when that desire comes to us, so when you're teeming with desire, when I say teeming with desires, then we are all feeling very satisfied with ourselves. And we say, oh, all these worldly people, they all have these desires, they are all teeming with desires. There are so many desires, they can't conceive the self, they cannot conceive some spiritual life. Look at us, we are smart people, we conceive it. When this thing will flip, you have no idea. It's like a switch, it can go anytime. Bill, thanks. I think I've heard the circle line referred to before, but the context is helpful. Yes. Sure, you're welcome. So the thing about desires is whenever the desire is there, you do not recognize it as one. You always see other people's desires, not our own. Suppose a wife tells her husband, let us buy a house. His reaction to that will be, why do you have so many desires? Why do you want to buy a house? Isn't it? She will never turn around and say, why do you not want to buy a house? Do you have a desire not to buy a house? Because you don't identify it as that. So whether you want or you don't want, they're both desires. No, I don't want it. Now, why don't you want it? That nobody says. So it's not easy to recognize. But in either case, whether you very rajasically want things or you tamasically don't want things, in both cases, desire is playing and there is no time to think of that ultimate goal of Godhood, of that ultimate truth, of that ultimate reality. No time to think. So that's what the author talks about, that if you are teeming with desires, any type, the goal of Godhood will not be there anymore. Okay, Mahesh, let us continue. The goal of Godhood, desirelessness, cannot be conceived by those teeming with desires. Instead, we would rather use spirituality as a stepping stone to our desires. Instead of understanding desirelessness as the goal, we wish to use spirituality as a stepping stone to our desire. Give me examples of how we use spirituality as a stepping stone to our desires.
And the temple visits.
Very good. The most obvious is the temple visits. Then what else?
Praying to Lord for XYZ better marks in the exams, or
Yes, correct. Yes. Doing yagnas, yagas.
Reflection.
Reflection.
Yes.
Why
because morning reflection would help you cope with your desires.
Okay, so you say you are going to become, you're going to develop clarity of thought and by that fulfill your desire, right? Like that. Okay, yes, correct. Then Deep Raj, you become a bhajan singer for fame. Yes, correct. One very interesting, all this you are all, sorry? Go ahead,
They're
Karuna.
listening to lectures for mental soul.
Listening to
Like
lectures.
listening to lectures for mental solace.
Very good. You listen to lectures for mental solace. Gunjan, I didn't get the example of morning sessions. What Nilofer is trying to say is a person may take up to reflection in the morning, but why is that person doing it? Only to fulfill their desire. So they think they will develop clarity of thought. With clarity of thought, I will get whatever I want, basically. So therefore, I'm doing it. And one very interesting one, which I heard fairly recently. I thought I've heard it all, but this was a new one. I mean, we've heard all this 40 years. I'm hearing what people are doing, but this was a new one. I appreciated the originality of it. So this person told me it's very nice to actually read what Vedanta says because it gives you so many new ideas which you can then apply to, what he was meaning, which you can then apply to write papers and to, do more, whatever, achieve whatever it is he wanted to do. His concept of reading Vedanta was just to get new ideas so that he can, do whatever he wants to do with those ideas. Oh, that's a new one. So interesting, right? How everybody uses it as stepping stones to different things. His concept was that you get in a rut mentally. You can't think of some original idea. So you read something like this and you get an original idea. Okay. Interesting. So different ways by which people use the knowledge to use the knowledge or volunteer work or bhajans. Bhajans means devotional music, choir music. If you're familiar with the Christian tradition, um, all of that for something other than godhood. Yes, Gunjan?
If we are doing morning practice, yes, we are doing it for gaining clarity. And this is a desire to gain clarity. So, what's wrong in that?
Clarity for what do you want? If you are doing a morning study to gain clarity so that eventually you will make a lot of money, then that's not what morning study is meant for, right?
But clarity to just operate in a better way in life.
Yeah, that's depends on what that means. At the
Okay.
moment, we are giving examples of you using this for the fulfillment of your desires. So let's say I want to have a better relationship. So I'll get clarity to how to operate in this world. But that is eventually just fulfillment of my desire. I want a good relationship. This will teach me how. What should happen is that we have the goal of godhood, and under that umbrella, our material life is taken care of. But what actually happens is you go directly to the material life to try to fix that.
Okay, so basically, even if I'm saying that I am my desire is clarity, it is just a word clarity, but within that, I am just specifying something very, maybe my work or maybe some money or something else.
Right. The clarity is not on the truths of life, on understanding this whole phenomenon.
Understood. And I think that's the reason in previously we talked about that we should not seek it directly.
That's right.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
you chase
I have
the
a
world,
question.
you lose the world. When you chase the Lord, you gain the world. Yeah, somebody had a question?
Yes, Janki ji. I
Hmm.
just want what Gunjan said.
So sometimes it is very difficult to conceive self purification or reaching the self. So isn't that a stepping stone where you try to harmonize relationships or look after the material aspect where you form a kind of a discipline, a stepping stone to move towards the ultimate
It could be.
goal?
It could be, anything can be, but are you using it for that? Anything can be, right? If you go and commit 5 murders, okay, and then you get locked in jail and you go through horrible, horrible times, you may wake up and say, oh my God, what did I do? I have to do something better. But when you committed the murders, you want to do this. And anyway, there are better ways of reaching God than doing all these horrible things and then saying, many people, they reach jail and then they start reading the Bhagavad Gita. There are better ways of doing this. Why don't you attend the Bhagavad Gita class instead of going and murdering something, going to jail, then studying the Gita? Madhouse. So anything can lead you there. But did you do it to lead you there? That's
So
your
maybe
intent.
maybe not necessarily if the person has not done it, but when he sees the result in the materialistic world that has given, so then maybe he may then start thinking about it more seriously. So isn't that still a valid thing to?
Why are you bargaining? Yes, if that works, fine, but that's not the recommended path. He may not. When you say he may, that means he may or he may not. So, I mean, what's the point of that, right? If you don't, you may anytime get the desire for godhood. Anytime. Out of any reason. Or you may not. That is why we're saying when you have it, please accelerate it. Because when it will go, you don't know. You don't know when it will come again. So be warned and be careful. Now, yes, it's people will do all sorts of weird things, go round and round in big circles, and then maybe arrive here. But that is not going to be accepted as a spiritual quest. When they want godhood, that is when the spiritual quest starts. By godhood, in the search for reality, the truths, the facts of life, to understand what is the whole picture, where have I come from, where am I going, what am I doing while I'm here. Understand the whole picture.
Thank you.
The goal of godhood, desirelessness, cannot be conceived by those teeming with desires. Instead, we would rather use spirituality as a stepping stone to our desires. It should be the other way around. Use your desires as a stepping stone to spirituality. Thus, we see the proliferation of wish-fulfilling deities. We would rather use spirituality as a stepping stone to our desires. Thus, we see the proliferation of wish-fulfilling deities. In every tradition, you will find some god or some deity who is supposed to fulfill all your desires. The concept itself would be abhorrent to a spiritual person. Spiritual person cannot deal with this idea. A spiritual seeker approaches God not to make demands, but to purify himself. For every demand is an assertion that God has left his part incomplete. Why is it abhorrent for a spiritual person to ask God for something? Because when you ask God for something, you're basically saying that God hasn't done his part and I'm now going to tell him what he needs to do. For means because. For every demand is an assertion that God has left his part incomplete. His wisdom is suspect. His giving is miserly. That's what it means, no? You're asking for something, means he hasn't given you enough. You're asking for something, that means he has done an incomplete job. You're asking for something, that means his wisdom is not enough. This is the height of ingratitude. God has provided us with all that we need. God has provided us with all that we need. Now it is our turn. What are we doing with what he has gifted? His part is done. Ours has yet to begin, and without doing it, we simply ask for further favors. The land has been provided, but we will not plow it. We will instead beg, plead, and pray for grains and expect the cornucopia. Oh, that veil of desires that does not let us see the most obvious thing. The Lord's part he has done. Our part we need to do, because we already have everything we need. Meaning we have the land. If you say, no, but I don't have food, I want food, but you have the land, why don't you plow it? No, but I don't have money, but you have your body, mind, intellect, why don't you use it and get the money? Oh, but my beloved doesn't love me. You have your body, mind, intellect, do whatever it takes to do so that you are a lovable person. No, I won't do anything that I need to do. What I will say is, oh God, give me my beloved, give me my food, give me my rent, give me my clothes, give me my... God's part is done. Our part we need to do. Religion has thus become a bad word, as it is filled with unfounded beliefs, rituals, and dogmas. That which is supposed to take us to God has itself now a bad word. You know how many forums a discussion of religion is prohibited because it just creates more chaos. Why? Because it's full of unfounded beliefs, rituals, and dogmas. So they say it's a matter of my faith. What on earth do you mean it's a matter of your faith? Any nonsense you speak doesn't become a matter of your faith. Some ritual has to be done. And there are some dogmas. Coupled with the debate on whose misunderstanding is the best. First, we have unfounded beliefs, dogmas, rituals. Then we fight with everybody else. Is my unfounded belief better or your unfounded belief better? Sabke pagal hai kya? Has everybody just gone mad? That which taught humans the most basic of truths has itself become a bed of untruths. Every wise person, every prophet must think, what's not to say? Every religion teaches the same fundamental facts for those who have the eyes to see. As the Sanskrit verse says, what use are all the scriptures to a man without his own wisdom? What use is a mirror to a blind man? Succeeding in the spiritual path gives total knowledge and total happiness, that is enlightenment. So what is the state of enlightenment? Total knowledge, total happiness. This was obtained by all the great masters, the initiators of the religions. They reported their journey and their goal in many songs full of reason and certainty, says the Gita in chapter 4. Their words may appear different, but they all essentially convey the same truth. As the cloud of desires peters out, we see the sameness, the oneness of the message. Thus, our happiness, desires, thus, besides our happiness, desires interfere with achievement, morality, relationships, and spiritual growth. And though they impede everything, we hold them close to us and believe them to be our friends. We believe they are the route to happiness, while in fact, they take us in the opposite direction. We need to urgently review this belief. Any questions so far?
The reason we hold desire so dear is because, as you say, when they rise up, we don't even recognize them as desires. We just think that this is the most obvious thing to do.
That's right. And you hold it so dear to you because you believe that you're going to get happiness out of it. So that's why you're holding it so dear. But what we are not getting is we're not going to. We're on the wrong track to happiness. Or, it's a sort of pressure builds within us. I have to have this. I have to have that. No. The moment you start functioning because of an internal pressure, you're on the wrong track. You have to step back, think carefully. Should I do it? Should I not do it? What is the impact it is having on me, if any? Think it through and then, of course, go do it. But not because of some internal pressure and so that was going on.
Most activities are from there, are from compulsion.
No, there's no filtration taking place, and then you meet consequences. So what we are not getting is that's the wrong track, and you're bound to get into trouble because of that track. It's a question of time. It's like you're driving on a road and you've fallen off to sleep on the steering wheel. As long as the road is straight, you're fine, but curves, you're actually dead.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else has any other question? Okay, so let us see. Do we have any solutions to this problem? Looking for solutions to Maha Mantras. Desires are a fact of our existence. We have them. The question is, what do we do about them? Desires cannot be plucked out and thrown away. We can run away from our desires, but they won't run away from us. Wherever we go, there they are. We may tell ourselves not to think of something, but the thought persists. Try this. As an experiment, you can try this. Think of something that bothers you. Think of something that bothers you. Don't read further. Something that irritates you. Think of something like that. What? Now go back and read the last couple of pages again. But while reading those pages, don't think of your problem. Try it. Did you? What did you find? Want to experiment? Go and read. Don't think of your problem, of course, while you're reading those pages. Go back and read last couple of paragraphs. Bill. There was a hint in sublimating to a greater desire for Ishtadeva, for example. Where was this hint, Bill? I don't think we have spoken about Ishtadeva here. Where did you find that? In the chapter? Yeah. You've read this book? Okay. Can you tell me where? What page number or something? Let's go back and see. Just chapter 3. You've already read chapter 3. Okay, where was Ishta Devata? Do you know what an Ishta Devata is? Did we speak about Bhakti Yoga in this chapter anywhere? Where did we speak about? It said divine. I substituted the word. Okay, fine. So, yes, divine meaning the goal for self realization. That's what we've been talking about. So, that's the way you go about it, but we are going to go into the solutions as of now. So, we'll come to the solutions. We're about to read it, so we can do that then. Okay, so do you all go back and read? Were you able to read those paragraphs without thinking of your problem, whatever it was? So the point is, the more we try to think of something, the more we try not to think of something, the more we think of it. Hence, trying to remove desires is not possible. Please underline that. You cannot remove a desire. And yet, eradication of desires is the purpose, the highest good of human existence. But one wonders whether there's any practical way to do this. To be happy, successful, and enlightened, there are two paths. Two Maha, great mantras to accompany us in life's journey. They help us tackle our desires. They are sorrow-defying mantras if we were to adopt, practice, and the two principles of human growth: purification of the mind, governance by the intellect. Applying this, the punctuation has gone from here. Applying these guarantees happiness. You should be applying these, comma, guarantees happiness. They are outlined in the next two chapters. So what is the solution to our problem over here? We have two solutions. Purify the mind and let the intellect govern. These are our two solutions. So once you can do this, you will guarantee yourself happiness. In conclusion, complete eradication of desires provides ultimate happiness. Elimination of desires gives commensurate happiness. It is done by inculcating higher desires. So, Bill, this is what it was speaking. I don't know where you read it, but this is what it was speaking about. How do you eradicate desires? By getting higher desires. We studied that, remember? When you get higher desires, the lower desires simply fall away. So what kind of higher desires? It can be, if you do it in terms of karma yoga, it would be with a higher goal. Okay, so let me do this for the society or the community, or let me work for India's independence, I don't know, whatever in the world you wanted to work for, to eradicate poverty, to look after, what shall I say, climate change, to look after seniors. Okay, so you keep some higher purpose, some higher ideal. As far as we are concerned, what is our higher goal in terms of karma yoga over here?
Establishing the
Nobody knows.
Vedanta Wisdom University.
establishing the world's first Vedanta university. That is our Karma Yoga goal. That's like having a higher ideal in terms of Karma Yoga. If you want to do the same thing in terms of Bhakti Yoga, then we can do what Bill suggests. Have an Ishta Devata. Have a Lord of your heart. Ishta means dear to you. Deva means God. So have a God who is dear to you. And fill your life up with his presence. Like Mirabai. Wherever she goes, whatever she does, she can only see the Lord. If she meets anybody, she thinks she's met the Lord. If something comes to her, it's because the Lord gave it to her. If something goes away from her, it's because the Lord took it away. So in Bhakti Yoga, you fill your whole experience with the presence of the Lord. So it's a higher desire. You're creating affection, you're creating love, you're creating devotion for something higher. When you create this kind of love for an individual of some kind, it's a lower kind of love. Because the moment you do this, you do what? Moment you love an individual, what happens? No, my husband is dear to me. My child is dear to me. What happens immediately? This
You personalize.
Yes, so it immediately turns to this person should do that. Immediately. This is the quote. I can't read it. Which quote? I can't read it, Bill. It's too small. Nice, you can see it. This one, the only way. Yeah, that's what we're doing currently.
Yeah, right after the sublimation of desire, there's just to inculcate a desire in a higher purpose, whether it's like you said, Desha Deva, or what you were giving examples of, Karma Yoga.
Yeah, so in Karma Yoga, you have a higher goal. In Bhakti Yoga, you have it for the Lord of your heart. That's the higher desire. And in Jnana Yoga, you do it by inculcating discrimination in more. Yes, correct. Yeah, that's exactly what we are doing right now. And when you do it in terms of Jnana Yoga, your discrimination is on things more important. Like as of now, all our discrimination is I don't know, something like which investment will give me better returns, which job will I get a better salary. All our discrimination is of that type. But when you start inculcating a higher level of discrimination, you think of something beyond all this general pettiness of life. And these questions matter to you. It matters to you something like, how would I eradicate sorrow for everybody? Not just for myself. What is the root? Why would people be unhappy? How could I remove that? So you think of something bigger, nobler, greater. You're thinking of it. What your discrimination is in that area. What if India does? Will India do well? Your discrimination is something beyond your petty everyday life. Okay, so you're discriminating in higher things. You're on the path of Jnana Yoga. So there are three ways of inculcating higher desires so that the lower falls off. Yes, Deepraj?
Isn't there another way of, a technical way of reducing desire through exhaustion?
What do you mean? This is the technical way.
Instead of taking up a higher desire, you deal with the desires that you have properly, then you exhaust them.
That is not sublimation. This is sublimation. When you take up higher desires. When you deal with your desires and try to do it in that manner, that is exhaustion through action. That means you conduct yourself so well with the desire that you exhaust the desire without creating a further one. But that is a slightly more dangerous path. You will have to use it in your life, of course, because some desires will simply not go through sublimation. So you will need to do it for a few things, but you have to keep those things restricted because that's a dangerous path. It's like there are two mountains. The shortest distance is throw on one rope and walk across that rope. Or the most dangerous way, better to come down and go up the other way. So yes, in some cases you need to do that. For everybody will need to do it in some cases, but you should not attempt to do too much of that. But not too much means don't use that method for everything because it's too time consuming as well. Imagine everything you have to exhaust through action. And Janma after Janma, you're going to be doing this only. So when you have a vacuum cleaner, why are you going around with a, what is that stick, to pick up one thing? Have you seen that stick?
Chopsticks.
No, chopsticks, that cleaning stick. Like if you don't want to bend and pick up some paper or something that's fallen, another stick it picks it up and you throw it in the bin. Then you go to the next one, you pick it up and throw it in the bin. You've never seen that? Mahesh, you can show that picture. You know what I'm talking about, right? That stick. Or older people sometimes use it to pick up things. Huh?
Old people use it. Old people use it to pick up so they cannot bend down.
But it's also used to clean in the sense instead of if you're even if your children have been playing with games or going each one you use that and you have a box and putting it in that box so all the teddies and everything.
I've seen people use it in abroad when they walk their dogs and when they have to pick up the dog poo to put it in.
Well, I don't know whether it can be used for dog poo, but I've seen them use it. Yes, it must be this Mahesh. Okay, so one individual thing to pick up rather than that, use your vacuum cleaner. Vidushi. But dealing with desires properly is using the intellect whose discrimination will still be based on the goal as a yardstick. So it's still technically sublimating, right? No, because suppose I want to earn money, that is my goal. But then I approach the money with my intellect. Then I'm that much better than a person who doesn't. So the person may or may not use the higher goal in this, exhaustion through knowledge. Like a simple example is, these Indian women or men, whatever, they know that they have to get married and they get married and they have children and they do all that. And then sometimes, not always, sometimes at the end of it, they're quite satisfied with it. That is where you find all these Indian women are very fat. I mean, they sort of given up, like how they were slim and sleek at one time. After some damn marriage and all, given up because not motivated anymore in those things. Sort of give up the tools for those things. I'm not suggesting it's a good thing to do, but I'm explaining why. You see, all these housewives, they're all sort of, what should I say? Quite satanic, like,
So they operated with
not
higher
even not necessarily. As long as you're at least using your intellect, you're that much better off. That's why you may go to tamas, but the point is that particular desire is taken care of. You're kind of satisfied with reference to it. So that's why there are two methods, right? Okay. So any reduction of desires gives commensurate happiness. It is done by inculcating higher desires. Desires not only interrupt happiness, but prevent achievement, health, relationships, morality, and spirituality. The method to tackle desires and attain happiness lies in the two principles relating to the mind and intellect. So why are we talking about this? Because the next two chapters will talk about this, the mind and the intellect. Okay, so what is a practical way of dealing with desires? Now we are going to go into purification of the mind and sharpening of the intellect. This is what we are headed into. But since we have now finished the chapter, let's just take a quick look at it. And next time, I hate to say this because I know nobody's going to do a group discussion. So we will take Q&A if you have. Otherwise, we'll start the next chapter. So quickly looking at what this chapter was about. Desireless, knowing you happen. So first we understood the mechanism of happiness. What happens when you become happy? A desire has to go for you to be happy. You think mango makes me happy. This is not correct, because if you did not have a desire for the mango cannot make you happy. So when you eat the mango, what happens is desire is gone, you are happy. So desires cause mental agitation. All mental agitations come out of desire. So what can you do? You have got two things. You can sublimate it into a higher desire, or you can exhaust it from contact. So when we went into higher desire, we discussed about subtle and gross desires and the pyramid of life. Because as you go higher, the quality of desires improves, quantity of desires reduces. So those who have higher desires enjoy things more. We also discussed deep and superficial. So the closer you are to the self, the more deep your desires are. A problem with this is when you're not close to the self, what happens is you think, I don't want that. All these people want it, I don't want it. They're so stupid for wanting all these things. Like a child, like a 7-year-old looking at his teenage brother who is hanging out with his girlfriend says, yeah, imagine he's going with girls. But when this boy, the young 7-year-old, comes to teenage years, he will also feel the same. So when we think of higher desires, we are really not interested. So then the author has to, of course, give us some sales talk to make you interested. So what was the sales talk? That desires are interrupting what you think you want, which is all this stuff, achievement, relationship, blah, happiness, blah, blah. Right? And finally, of course, spiritual. So now what are we going to do about it? Can you take a desire and pluck it out and throw it away? No. Then what are you going to do about it? You're going to purify the mind and sharpen the intellect, which we're going to study in the next two chapters, and thereby deal with desires. Momita, I'm still at this stage of desire gratification, it seems, to be honest. It is better to acknowledge this and aim to meet them per the teaching. Yes, See, not acknowledging a truth has never helped anybody. It's always better to acknowledge a truth. And then use your intellect to go about it. If you're fulfilling a desire, the very minimum you need is that you are using your intellect to go about it. Announcement for tomorrow.